Need a little luxury in your life? That's why I recently treated myself to a staycation at the Inn at 500 Capital. Whether you're looking for a romantic getaway, a special celebration, or just a break from routine, you're going to love their Four Diamond Boutique experience with gorgeous rooms, penthouses, and suites right in the heart of downtown Boise. You'll be greeted with a complimentary drink on arrival, have access to free shuttle service, and even your pet is welcome. And here's an insider tip: book more than one night and save with their weekend escape rate. Book your stay now at inat500.com. Hey everyone! Right now, Boise Weekly is holding their annual contest highlighting the best of the best in our city. And we need your help. If this show helps you feel more connected and in the know, please nominate us in the Best Podcast category. It takes just a minute, and we'll put a link in the show notes to the nomination form. Thanks for your support, Boise. Today on CityCast Boise, who says you have to stay out until 3 a.m. to have a good time at Treefort? Not us, and definitely not our lower backs. So we're bringing you the Elder Millennials Guide to enjoy the festival without burning out. We're breaking down how to do Treefort smarter, not harder, because we're not ready to retire from the fun just yet. It's Wednesday, March 19th. I'm Lindsay Van Allen, and this is what Boise's talking about. Podcaster and performer Matthew Melton is back on the show to help me craft an Elder Millennials Guide to Treefort Music Fest. Hey, Matthew.
Hey.
Treefort Music Fest has been around since 2012. And at that time, millennials ranged in age from 16 to 31, with the average millennial being 25. A bit of time has passed since then. The oldest millennials are in their mid 40s, 44, 45. A lot of us are navigating our late 30s. And I know that people like to say that age is just a number, but do you think your experience with Treefort has changed as you've aged?
I mean, certainly yes, right? And it needs must. It has to, right? Because I was there, in my mid-late 20s. My very first Treefort was 2015. And quite honestly, I've been chasing that high ever since, and it's always been great. But that first one was so magical, and I think a lot of that is informed by the fact that I was solidly in my late 20s, and I'm pushing 40 now, and I had better knees then, better sleep, better everything. So it has changed quite a bit. I think the days are over of me staying out until 1 a.m. on Thursday trying to catch the last shows and just chase every moment down. And you know what? Elder millennials, hi, it's me, Matt. I'm one of you. That's okay. This can change. You can do different things. You could still enjoy the festival, I think. That's what I'm here to say, without having to burn yourself out chasing the Zoomers and the Gen Alpha-ers around at all those late nights. It can be done. That's
definitely the vibe I want to have going into this festival, that we can have a lot of fun. We don't have to be chasing 25 to have that fun. That's my theory. I'm really excited to test it out. So, Matthew, what do you remember about those first couple years of attending, or what memories really stand out for you that make Treefort so special for you?
I will say this. I am absolutely here because I am a zealous convert of Treefort, maybe just like In-N-Out. I believe in Treefort. It's done a lot for me personally. 2015 was the first year I ever attended. I was a few years removed from moving back to Boise from Los Angeles. I had a relationship kind of blow up in my face, and Treefort for me that year was a coming out party, getting back into the world, getting back out there as a person. Not to sound cliche, but it was magical. Getting to hang out with friends all week. The weather, of course, was amazing that year. It was 75, 80 degrees, this sort of Indian summer in reverse. Couldn't beat it. Running around in shorts and flip-flops. And just experience, I grew up here, I've been here for a long time, and it was really one of the first times I'd ever experienced Boise through the eyes of a tourist, right? Because it's a different, you've been before once or twice, it's a different vibe, right? It's you're with people who've never been here, or they only come here for this, and to get to walk around and experience the city I've lived in basically my whole life through fresh eyes was incredible. And I've been chasing that ever since, and I'm never disappointed.
I will say that when I've waited for shows at Treefort, unlike In-N-Out, the results have been worth it and satisfying for me. So these are the lines I don't mind.
Okay, we can agree. We can agree to disagree, and we can agree to agree here. I'm with that. That's fine.
Matthew, when Treefort started, it was definitely a millennial geared music festival, just through and through. Do you think this festival is still being marketed towards millennials, or is it evolving for a Gen Z crowd?
I've thought a lot about this. I tell people going to Treefort as like a person pushing 40 keeps me young. And that makes me sound like the oldest person on planet Earth for saying that. But like my music tastes and you know, my enjoying of the culture like is kept fresh, is refreshed by going to these sorts of things. Like I can't tell you, maybe you've had this experience too. So many people are like, well, I don't know who's coming. I don't know anybody who's coming, so I'm not going to go. It's expensive and I don't know anybody, so I'm not going to go. And it's like, I think you're doing it wrong. I don't think the point is to go see people that you know. I think for me anyway, the point is to go explore. The point is to go listen to what the kids are listening to, and maybe you'll like it. I certainly, some of it's like, I see where you're going with that, but I don't care for it. The great news is there's like 500 bands. You're going to find something that you like, and you're going to come home with a record or a CD or a Spotify playlist, and it's going to keep your horizons broadening. And I think it's really important.
Absolutely. I think that's something that's really fun about this festival is like my husband and I this past weekend sat down. We each were going through the app, like, okay, let's listen to this one. Times were available, times we're going to be there, trying to find artists that will be there, just like scrolling. And we ended up just scrolling through, I don't know, hundreds of artists. We did this for like 3 hours, way too much time doing this probably. Reading their little bio, listening to their little clip, laughing about some stuff where we're like, oh man, I would have loved that. Early 20s, not my vibe now. Or like reading these bios, somebody's bio said like, this artist was born in the late 1900s. And
oh no,
we're going to see her just for that, honestly. But just like listening and be like, oh, that sounds cool. I didn't know who they were. Let's check this out. That'll be really interesting. Or this is a whole different vibe than anything else we're listening to that day. So that will be really, kind of a palate cleanser, kind of unique. And I think that's part of the fun is let's go listen to a bunch of things that we normally don't have access to here.
Absolutely. There's just so much happening, and there's an opportunity to add some more to the old Spotify playlist or the record collection or whatever. So yeah, I'm with you.
Well, how are you planning on balancing festival FOMO with the reality that we are pushing our 40s or in our 40s and we're not 25 anymore? So how do you balance that?
Excellent question. And I think it's a really important question to ask before you get there. If you're going, pick a couple of things that you're like, this is can't miss for me. This is appointment viewing. There's no way I'm going to miss this. And hold on to the rest of it really loosely, because it may be that you can't get into the shrine because it's packed to the gills, or you want to see this band at 10 o'clock and you flame out at 8. You're like, well, no, I'm going home. That's not, I let that one go. Or you meet up with a friend and they're like, hey, I'm really into this. This is a can't miss for me. Do you want to come with me on this? And for me, I'm like, if you like them that much, they must be good. So yeah, sure. So FOMO is real. FOMO is your friend. It's going to happen. There's simply too much going on. And that's a feature, not a bug, right? It's a huge buffet. And you have all 5 days to sample. So don't beat yourself up about missing one thing or another. Enjoy where you're at and go do something else later. It's fine. You're not going to beat it, so don't try.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. Are you holding back on foreign travel plans this year because you're afraid of the language gap? I'm not, because I have Babbel. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I'm learning Spanish on Babbel, getting ready for a trip to Mexico City. Babbel is the language learning app that gets you talking. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons, handcrafted by over 200 language experts, get you to begin speaking your new language in 3 weeks or at whatever pace you choose. Babbel's tips and tools are inspired by the real-life stuff you actually need when communicating. With a focus on conversation, you'll be ready to talk wherever you go. Babbel has given me great lessons on getting directions, ordering in a restaurant, and making plans. And of all the things I'm doing in Mexico City, I'm probably most excited about the soccer game we're going to. So I was excited to learn how to cheer from Babbel. That'll be me you'll hear yelling, Fuerza Tigres! Fuerza Tigres! With over 16 million subscriptions sold, Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by a 20-day money-back guarantee. Let's get more of you talking in a new language. Babbel is gifting our listeners 60% off subscriptions at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Babbel.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Okay, Matthew, let's get into festival prep. How are you planning on surviving a long weekend of shows without feeling like you need a month to recover?
Yes. So obviously I'm talking from the viewpoint of an aging millennial myself. Number one, obviously, go download the Treefort app. It's come a long way. They've cleaned it up quite a bit. It's super useful. You can check out the entire schedule. You can add bands to your schedule. Your friends can share their schedules with you through the app, which is so great. Like if you want to see where you can sync up and let's grab a drink at Ale for it. You and I both want to check out this thing. Let's go together. Now is the time to do that. Secondly, I would say keep an eye on the weather. Get your clothes and your shoes right. It's in the park this year. There was a big kerfuffle about the grass and all that in Julia Davis. So, stiletto high heels or maybe not the move if you're going to be at the main stage a lot. Get yourself a decent pair of shoes. Suck it up. Go get the Dr. Scholl's foot inserts or whatever. I guarantee your high top Chuck Taylors are not going to cut the mustard for 5 days. It's just not going to happen. Also, friends, it's time. Let's have the earplugs talk. Get yourself a pair of earplugs, decent earplugs, concert quality earplugs. There's no shame in it. I went through this as well. I'm here to talk you through it. Treefort Music Fest sells some earbuds, some reusable earbuds for like $15-20. They come in it looks like a shotgun shell. It clips, it's like a little carabiner. It clips on your keys. You can clip it to a bag. Just use them. It's not worth ruining your ears. Monday morning, you can't hear anybody at the office or whatever. Take care of your ears. Get yourself some good earbuds.
I'm glad we're talking about the needed accessories because I think this is an area where you can accidentally mess up a little bit. Or if you don't plan, now you're running to Walgreens all the time or, you're missing things because you're trying to get the things you didn't remember. And so, yes, 100% on ear protection. Please do that. As a nurse, I'm begging you. But also I'm saying stay hydrated. Find a way to be hydrated because we are not 25. So we can't do that. I'm just going to drink and hope for the best and my youth will carry me through. Yes. You need to drink water. There needs to be a plan for a time when you are drinking water. Also plan on some ibuprofen or things like that. Things hurt more. I've been at more concerts where I'm I think I'm the only person here who's experienced back pain. And it's coming for me now by the end of the show. And so just have a plan for that. Your preferred method of if things start to get a little creaky, a little achy, I've got a plan for it. So you're not having to leave by 9 p.m. because you're I'm too broken and feeling the pain everywhere right now. And my other tip is break in your shoes before you go. Whatever it is, break them in. I know if you've got a minute, wear those cute shoes, wear whatever it is you were planning on wearing, but get them broken in because by day 2, the blisters aren't worth it. You'll be rethinking your whole life at that point. So just break them in or find the comfy shoes. Like you said, Matthew, that's the way.
And to your point about breaking in shoes, this is going to make, again, we're all going to sound like octogenarians talking about this, but it's been cold until very recently. We've all been inside. There's not been a lot of opportunity to get outside. This is going to sound dumb. Go on walks this week. Practice walking around, go out. What was that stat? Almost all of us live within 10 minutes of a park. Get the blood flowing, stretch the old joints out because you're going to put on Disneyland steps this Treefort weekend. So give yourself some time to break in those good shoes and get the body moving and get reaccustomed to being outdoors because it's coming.
Matthew, how are you planning on pacing yourself so you don't burn out by day 2? I know this goes back to kind of the FOMO thing, but like, how are you making your list of like, these are my must-sees, or how are you doing that so that you can make it through the weekend and still be enjoying yourself on Sunday?
Absolutely. My birthday always falls over Treefort. And last year, we decided it would be fun. My partner and I decided it'd be fun to get a hotel room for a couple of days close to the action. I think we stayed one night at the Grove. We stayed one night at the Riverside. That was a huge game changer to be able to take, after being at the main stage and it was freezing last year, take the tree line bus back to the Grove, go right upstairs, go right to bed, have a breakfast. There's a hot tub. You could, soothe your aching bones in the hot tub before you head back out. Like that, I think is key. Now, a lot of places have kind of caught wise to that. So like rates might be a little higher around the Treefort weekends. I think the main thing is hearty breakfast, get fueled up, go when you're ready to go. Truthfully, like Wednesday and Thursday, you can take it kind of easy. Things don't really start popping off until Friday afternoon. You don't need to be down there all day, every day. Again, keep that schedule handy. What do you really want to see? What's that first thing? And if there's nothing before like 1 o'clock, be okay with showing up at 1. Be okay with showing up at 3. It's okay. It's fine. If you got a pass or whatever, there's going to be a lot of pressure to like use it to its fullest extent, and you're going to burn out that way. And we all have to live after this thing is over. So don't let that sneak up on you.
Yeah, survival is key.
Yes, this is a marathon, not a sprint, y'all. We're in this to win this. We're going to survive this.
So which forts or events do you think are the most elder millennial friendly?
This is key. Okay, take it from a guy who's been doing this a few years. With all the love in my heart for the Shrine, for the main stage, for even really Treefort Music Hall, little to no seating in these venues. So you really got to pick your spots. And I know that sound like it's just like, 40-minute sets. Yeah, but if you're there for like 3-4 hours, now we're talking back pain. Now we're talking, these shoes aren't holding up the way I wanted them to because I'm just standing, or I'm standing on concrete, or I'm standing, whatever. Obviously, the music's a big part of it, but there's so many other forts going on. And I guarantee most of them have seats. So consider checking out Story Fort. That's going to be in venues where there's going to be tables and places to sit. Here's a plug for you. Pod Fort is happening, I think, Thursday or Friday through Saturday and Sunday. And it's all going to be afternoons at Boise Contemporary Theater. It's a theater. They are known for having seats. You can sit down, enjoy a free podcast. I have a few to recommend if you're into live play tabletop role playing. I have a couple of my podcast, Play Around and Find Out. We're going to do a live pro wrestling tabletop role playing game with the audience interaction to boo and cheer and all of that. It's going to be a hoot. It will be seated. There will be a bar there that you can get a drink at.
Climate controlled?
Climate controlled, 100% indoors. If it's too hot, if it's rainy, if it's whatever. These are key facets of venues for Treefort. So pick the spots where you want to stand. For all that's holy, pick the spots where you can sit.
And what are some great ways to experience Treefort if staying out until 3 a.m. isn't really in your wheelhouse, or just really isn't as easy as it used to be?
Definitely. I think one discovery I made in the first couple of years of going, and they do this every year, is all these second chance shows. These will be at free venues. This is places like the Record Exchange. This is the Band Shell is free. Boise Brewing. They usually have huge stages, and there's oftentimes you can catch big acts who are just want to play another show, and they're going to play at a different time. Say there's this band you really want to see, but it's at 12:30 a.m. at Hannah's. Well, that's no good for me. Then it turns out, they're going to play Payette at 5 o'clock on Friday too. Like, that's a better option. It's also free. You might just catch somebody on a second chance. Sometimes they don't release that till the day of. So keep your ears up, keep your eyes up. But there's lots of opportunity to do the things you want to do and see the things you want to see, and not be out until, dark 30 with all the youngins.
I want to take a look at this guide maybe through a different lens now. What's something that you enjoy or know how to do better at Treefort now that you maybe didn't appreciate or kind of fell flat when you were younger?
One year I wore the terrible $2 Old Navy flip-flops. to Treefort, and my feet were tore up, but I basically couldn't go the following day. Rookie mistake. Don't do those things. This is a great opportunity for community. I'll say that. Link up with your friends. If you've got a friend who's not interested in going, take them to a free show. They don't want to spend $300 whatever on a wristband. Take them to a free thing. Get to experience the city as a tourist if you live here. And if you are not here, welcome. We're great. Boise's got a lot of good things going for it. And if you are from here, here's a great opportunity to be an ambassador for all that. Like, we live in a beautiful place with lots of art and culture, and it's a great opportunity to experience it. Even if it's not for you, I guarantee it's big enough, you'll find something that is.
So what are you most excited for at this festival? What are you most looking forward to this year at Treefort?
So this is definitely one of those years where I'm looking at all of the top names on the poster, and I'm like, I don't know any of these people. And I know for a lot of people that's a turnoff. For me, that's an exciting opportunity to explore. Kind of takes the pressure off, honestly. Like if I miss, this big band that everybody seems to like that I've never heard of, I guess I don't know what I'm missing. This is definitely one of those years for me where I can just show up, hang out with friends, meet some new friends. One of the best things about whether you know somebody or not, you're at Ailfort, you're sitting with somebody like, hey, what have you seen? Ask a stranger, what's good? What are you excited for? Get some on the boots on the ground intel for the rest of your trip. Share what you've experienced. It's like going to a big old art museum, right? Everyone has a different thing. Like, oh, did you see this thing? No, but I saw this thing. Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah, it was cool. Like, those are fun conversations to have with your friends, with your community. And I think it's those sorts of things I'm really looking forward to.
Well, I think it sounds like the perfect way to approach Treefort. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show and help me craft this guide for our fellow elder millennials.
Absolutely. Elder millennials, don't be scared. Come on down. We'll see you at Treefort.
That's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you enjoyed the show, check out our Hey Boise newsletter for more Treefort Music Fest coverage. We'll be back tomorrow morning to break down the threats to our public lands. Catch you then.